So what happened with you and Guess?
I became too successful too quickly.
Okay.
So I had a 3-year license, and then when my license expired, they tried to take away my license before the fact, and that did not work. So we got into big litigation and all kind of different things. They didn't win, but I didn't win either. So I ended up finishing my contract, and just moved on to better and bigger things, and not necessarily in terms of finances, but as far in terms of happiness and creativity, and allowing me to put my mark in a culture that I love, which is the space that I'm in.
Right. So after you left Guess, that's when you got into leather.
Yeah, I just, I really was going to do another lifestyle brand. And at that time, I was known as Jeff Hamilton. Obviously, that's not my Jewish French name. But that was the name of my company. And people knew me. I mean, I had such a huge following that people start referring to me as Jeff Hamilton. So it was a natural transition for me to go out and call myself Jeff Hamilton, even though as of today, I have not yet changed my legal name.
What's your actual name?
From Jeff Bobot to Jeff Hamilton.
Okay.
And my credit cards still have my real name, and my kids, my family still have my name. But I'm very proud to be Jeff Hamilton. So it was a natural transition for me to do that. And and knowing that I am so passionate and I work so hard on what I love to do. That for me to be the face of my own brand, and me being able to back up my quality and my designs with me being responsible for whatever I do that's what I think made a big difference in my career.
Okay, so you decided to start doing leather jackets. So how'd you end up hooking up with various NBA players initially?
So when I decided to do the lifestyle brand, it was the 80s. My hair was all the way to my shoulder, and I started buying. I was a wealthy guy. I'm not 27, 28 years old. I was making, like, in 1984, I made $6 million. Like in my tax return. So it was like really, I don't even know how much it would translate into today's money, but it was ridiculous. I was not into drugs. I was not into alcohol. I was not into gambling. So I was really doing well, but I was riding Harleys, and I was like hobnobbing with like James Caan and Billy Idol and all of the big stars, and that started getting into those guys, and I really wanted to look cool because I was into fashion. I couldn't find cool leather jackets. There was a lot of beautiful. I have nothing but respect for all the other brands, so you'll never hear me talking bad about any other brand. A couple of exceptions. I guess I will not understand ever then. But so I started designing funky, crazy leather jackets for myself. Just not knowing that I didn't even know how to make a leather jacket because it's so complicated. The craft that I was putting in, the work I was putting in was so difficult that I was doing it by hand and with little scissors, cutting with my team, cutting little logos, stitching it and sewing it one by one. And everybody started loving those jackets. And, so I said, you know what? Maybe I'll put it in my line. But I knew I didn't want to produce it because it was so complicated to do. So I charged very high prices. People didn't care. They still bought it. And I started making them. And I started making the jackets. One of the first guys was George Michael. Just, and not directly through me, through a store. Bought the jacket. And put in his videos, and
this is like for Faith,
for Faith, for all the other subsequent videos, and then there was Andrew Dice Clay, then there was Madonna in how you call Borderline, her first video. The guy who's walking the streets wearing a Guess jacket at the time. And then I some of the NBA players came to me and they said, we want you to make some jackets for us. Actually, the first one was Reggie Theus. And I was good friends with him and his wife. And his wife said, "You know what? Magic wants you to make him some stuff." So I got to do some stuff for Magic. And Magic told me, "Say, you know what? Michael wants you to do some stuff for him." And I always tell the story to people. I said one day I was in my office, and at the time when we had receptionists at the office, and we were not answering our own cell phones. And they said, "There's a Michael Jordan on the phone for you." I said, "That's impossible." And that was Michael Jordan.
So with Magic Johnson initially, what kind of things were you doing for him?
Just I think I don't really recall exactly the design to be candid. I think it would have to be something, and it was NBA related, where we did just like a small little NBA logo on the chest or something like that. But then with Reggie Theat, they just had moved from Kansas City Royals to Sacramento Kings. And he put me together with all his teammates, and his teammates start coming in, and some of the Clipper guys start coming in. And one after the one, it became all of them wanting me to do special stuff. And then I started making official deals with the NBA and with the NFL and with the NHL and with baseball. And all those licenses start coming to me. And then I started working in creating product for the public as well.
Okay, so when you hooked up with Jordan, what happened after you guys started talking?
Nothing much. We just made a few jackets for him at the time, and I don't think I met him officially till I think 1991.
Okay, that's when he went.
I might have met him like very rapidly, like very quickly in one of the games or something like that. But 91 was probably the first time I met him officially.
Okay, and that was the year he went to the championships.
Yes.
Okay, and then he insisted on having a jacket from you.
No, he didn't know anything about the jacket. But
Oh,
at the time,
that came later.
Yeah.
Okay, so initially, so the 91
92,
championship.
93 was not a big. I started making the championship jacket, but I really didn't have that whole plan that the jackets were waiting in the locker room and so on and so forth. I made a jacket for Scotty, and which I think it was the second year coming out as a rookie. Actually, the first guy who made a jacket for the Chicago Bulls championship was Cliff Levingston.
Okay.
So, some people might not even remember him anymore, but he was a great guy. And but really, the whole hype started coming in when. In 95, when he came back from retirement, 96, when he came back from retirement and he won the championship, I made the jacket. And at that time, I was in a locker room with the jacket waiting for him. And right away, he put the jacket, and that was like the whole feeling that's what really created the whole concept of like, you put the jacket right now, you immediately, it's like you get your immediate gratification, instant gratification that you get your championship ring, that you don't have to wait 4 months to get it. You get it right away.
Okay, because wasn't there a story about how Jordan refused to like start his press conference until he got your jacket or something like that?
I never heard that. No. But there was the story is that as soon as he came out, especially that was in the '98 championship when he was in Utah, when he came out of the thing, the first thing that he had that actually his bodyguard come and pick me up at my seats after the game, because I had told him previously that I had the jacket ready if he won the championship. So I had the jacket with me. As soon as he won the championship, I walked into the locker room and he said, that's the famous line, "Jeffrey, where's my coat?" And he put it on right away. And of course, like me, I'm a kid. I was like my smile from year to year, like just like enjoying the moment. And I remember the late Stuart Scott came to me and said, "Well, come over. I want to do an interview." I said, "Well, I'm talking to Michael. I'm not going to let that time. Every second is precious for me, And he said, "Well, you can talk to Michael, or you can be in front of 60 million people advertising your jacket. It's up to you." So I did that, and then of course I took a bunch of other pictures. After that, I went to the locker room with him and Scotty and Ron Harper, and it was just memorable memories in my life.
Right, because you actually made the Dream Team jackets in
did
'92,
too.
and you actually went to Barcelona.
I did.
With the team.
Yes.
And actually were with them the entire time.
The whole time, yeah. And actually I was driving, I was blessed to have lunch or dinner because, like people, very few people know that the games were starting at 10:30 at night, local time there because of the time change. And so we would have dinner around 6 o'clock at night, and I would have dinner with them and their families. And I would go on the bus with them, with the family. And I had all my locker room passes, and so I would be, I would see them. One other thing interesting about Michael, and as you can tell, I'm a big fan. Everybody's a big fan of Michael. How can you not be? I pride myself in saying that I went to every single finals game he's ever played in his entire career. And none of the play of every finals game he's ever played in his career. I went with him to Barcelona. I went with him to Paris. So I'm very privileged to have all those beautiful memories in my life.
Oh yeah, and that dream team was just so iconic because in 1992, I guess they changed the rules where that was the first time professional players could actually play in the Olympics in the United States, even though other countries were sort of fudging the rules a little bit. That was the first time officially you had all these NBA players able to play against the rest of the world in the Olympics, and they demolished everybody. They won on an average of 44 points per game. It wasn't even close.
No, but it was so pleasant to see it. I mean, especially knowing all those guys, and I was pretty close with all those players, and I still am, and it was just such a pleasure just to see them play, and it was, imagine an all-star game, and it's just like it was so fantastic. Charles Barkley and Magic and Larry Bird and Patrick Ewing and David Robinson and Chris Mullin. I mean, all those guys were like such icons. And
yeah, and you actually have an autographed jersey from each one of those guys.
I did. Unfortunately, I sold that. I sold it. I had the real jerseys, all the real game jerseys of all of them, and also had a jacket signed by all of them together. Also,
crazy.
And and unfortunately, a few years back, I sold all of it. And
you sold everything?
Yeah, I regret it. But
how much did it sell? How much did all that sell for?
I don't want to say it, but it's
in the millions.
It's a lot of, today would be,
okay,
and today would be because it was with game day jerseys,
right.
game worn jerseys, and I had the backing to go with it. Not only I had a picture with all of them with the gold medals and everything together, plus I also had the locker room passes or hotel, and the fact that I stayed in a hotel with them, the whole history. So it was very well documented.